Imagine this for a second. Time does this weird thing. For the world, maybe a few days pass, maybe a week. But for you, 15 years go by.
To 15 years. It's almost impossible to imagine.
Right, and then you come back, you step back into everything, and suddenly you're an adult. But everyone you knew, they still see the kid who just vanished.
And they look at you like, who is this? What happened?
Exactly. What happens when time plays that kind of, well, just cruel trick on you, and nobody, absolutely nobody, believes the impossible thing you've lived through? That's the story, the really fascinating, kind of heartbreaking story we're diving into today.
Yeah, it's a story that it really grabs you right from the beginning, doesn't it? It starts in this place that feels, pretty quiet, an ordinary village.
Totally normal on the surface, life just ticks along. But underneath all that, there's this young girl, and she's feeling really out of place.
That's Soo-rin. Right. She's new there, moved after her mom died, so she's carrying that grief, and she's in this unfamiliar town.
Yeah, and she's described as really imaginative, maybe a little bit different from the other kids. Feels like an outsider, maybe? And she lives with her stepfather who's, well, he's there, but maybe doesn't quite get her, her world.
Doesn't connect on that level. And it's in that sort of quiet space, that solitude, that she meets Sung-min.
Ah, Sung-min.
Yeah, he's presented as just really kind, cheerful, full of life. And they just click instantly. This really deep connection forms.
The kind you get when you both feel a bit alone.
Exactly that. Shared loneliness, plus they both love fairy tales, that kind of escape. And they find this place, a special place just for them.
Their secret spot.
Yeah.
A cave hidden off in the forest.
Yeah, and it's more than just a den, isn't it? It's like it represents their bond, a place where their shared world, their imagination can just exist away from everything else.
It's the heart of it all. Their sanctuary.
Definitely. But, in stories like these, that piece, it never lasts, does it? There's always a turning point.
So it's got to happen.
And their lives are about to get turned upside down, completely changed by something to do with time itself. So our mission here is to really unpack this story, the mystery, the loss, and what happens to a connection that seems to, well, ignore the clock entirely.
So, okay, it kicks off on this one particular day. It just seems normal at first, but it turns out to be fateful.
That's right.
Sung-min, he goes off with 2 other boys from the village.
Right, up into the mountains nearby.
Yeah.
Just kids exploring, pushing boundaries a bit.
Like boys do. But this time they go somewhere, maybe somewhere they shouldn't have, or they find something they weren't supposed to find.
That's it. They find something buried underground. It's this weird glowing egg.
Glowing, okay.
Yeah, not just like a cool rug. It feels important, almost like it's alive or holds some energy.
And this village, it's not like it appeared yesterday. It has history, stories, and this egg, this glowing thing, it connects to an old legend.
A legend about some artifact, something that could supposedly stop time, freeze it.
Wow. Okay, but like all those old legends, there's a catch, right? A warning.
Always. The legend says there's a terrible price to pay if you mess with it, if you disturb it.
And they're curious boys who just found a glowing egg, so...
So, yeah, they mess with it, maybe try to crack it open, see what's inside.
Yeah.
And the effect is immediate.
Yeah.
And utterly terrifying. All 3 of them just vanish.
Gone. Like, poof.
Just gone in an instant from that spot.
Oh, man. You can just picture the panic ripping through that village. It's not just kids getting lost, wandering off. It's a complete disappearance.
Total chaos. Search parties out immediately, combing the mountains, the forest, looking for any sign, any clue.
But there's nothing, just empty space where they were standing.
Nothing. And days start to pass. Maybe it turns into a week. The search keeps going, but, hope starts to fade. The fear, the not knowing, it just grows.
And then just when you think it can't get any weirder,
something truly unbelievable happens. A man shows up.
A stranger.
Complete stranger. Looks like he's in his 30s. And he walks up to Soo-rin, the girl whose best friend just vanished.
Wait, he approaches her.
Yeah. And what he tells her, it's just staggering.
Yeah.
This grown man, he looks Soo-rin right in the eye and says that he is Sung-min.
No, the boy who disappeared like a week ago.
That's what he claims.
How is that even possible? I mean, my first thought is this guy's crazy, or worse. How could Soo-rin, who's already terrified and grieving, possibly even consider believing him?
Because he knows things. Things only the real Sung-min could know. Not like facts anyone could find out. Deep stuff.
Like what?
Like the secret stories they whispered in the cave. The really specific, quirky title of her absolute favorite book, the exact words, the little finger movement of a pinky promise they made. stuff only the two of them shared.
Ah, okay. That's different. That's not just random guessing. That's the key to their world.
Exactly. That's the proof for her. It cuts through the impossibility. Her fear starts to shift into this kind of dawning, bewildering, maybe? Could it be?
So he starts to explain what did happen.
He tells her that when they broke open that glowing egg,
Yeah.
its power, it wasn't just on them, it stomped time for the entire world, everything outside their little bubble.
The whole world froze.
Trees, rain mid-fall, people in the village, everything just stopped, frozen solid in an instant.
But not them.
Not them. While the universe basically held its breath, he and the other two boys who were right there with the egg, they just kept aging.
For how long?
15 years.
15 years, while the world stood still. How do you even wrap your head around that? 15 years trapped in one frozen moment, just watching everything stay exactly the same.
It's the definition of isolation, isn't it? I mean, the psychological damage alone. Imagine wandering through that for 15 years. He talks about it later, seeing rain just hanging in the air, never falling.
Like glass beads.
Wow. Trying to talk to the other two boys who were also trapped, also aging with him. But
oh no, they didn't.
They didn't make it. That was the terrible cost the legend hinted at. It wasn't just losing time relative to the world. The experience itself was lethal.
So the other two boys died during those 15 years in that frozen world.
Yeah, the strain, maybe psychological, maybe something physical about being outside time.
Yeah.
It was too much. Sung-min was the only one who survived it.
So he comes back. And he's physically an adult carrying this unimaginable trauma, the memory of his friends dying. But to the world, only days have passed, and he's supposed to be a missing kid.
And he's trying to tell people this story that sounds completely insane, except for Soo-rin. She's the only one who might believe.
So this puts Soo-rin in an impossible spot. She's shocked, terrified, but this man knows their secrets, so she makes a choice.
A huge choice. She decides to keep his secret, based on that proof, that feeling, that connection, that maybe, just maybe, it is him.
But that can't be easy. The village is already freaking out about the missing kids.
Oh yeah, the pressure cooker's on high.
Yeah.
People are desperate for answers. And now there's this strange man hanging around Soo-rin, the missing boy's best friend. Suspicion just skyrockets.
And the police are obviously all over this disappearance case.
Heavily involved. And when this adult stranger pops up, especially near Soo-rin, their focus shifts, right? He goes from maybe a witness to a suspect.
Oh, of course. They'd think kidnapping. Or worse, that he did something to those boys.
Exactly. It becomes the logical, terrifying explanation for them. So he's under this intense cloud of suspicion and fear.
And while all this is swirling around them, the police closing in, the village whispering, Soo-rin and this adult Sung-min, they try to connect.
Yeah, it's incredibly sad, isn't it? They try to somehow bridge that gap. She's still just a teenager dealing with all this, and he's a man who's lived through hell for 15 years.
But the core of their friendship, the important part, it wasn't about their age, was it? It was something else.
That's the key. It was about, their connection, their shared world in that cave. And Soo-rin, she's the only one who can still see him. The boy she knew. Inside the man.
But they can't just hang out. The police are after him. The town thinks he's dangerous.
It gets too risky. They have to run. They end up hiding out in the forest, which is kind of ironic, right? Back where time broke.
Trying to figure out how to prove something that sounds completely impossible before they get caught.
And as they're hiding, struggling in the present, we start to see more of what he actually went through. Through flashbacks, we get the real horror of those 15 years.
What was it like? What did he describe?
Just profound loneliness. Wandering streets where people are like statues caught mid-sentence, mid-step. The horror of trying to reach his friends, seeing them age, seeing them fail. Being trapped with them as they died in that stillness.
Yeah, that's bleak.
And things like watching the sun. It never moved, just stuck in one spot in the sky. An eternal unchanging daylight or twilight or whatever it was.
No sunrise, no sunset, no seasons changing. That would mess with your head so badly.
Completely distort reality. And he wasn't just passively enduring it either. He tried things. Tried to break the spell, reverse the egg's effect. Tried to stop himself aging in that weird void. He fought it.
But time still passed for him, even outside the normal stream. It froze the world, but it couldn't stop the clock inside them. 15 years still happened to him.
Exactly. Time demanded its due from them, even in that frozen state. He couldn't escape getting older.
So hiding out in the forest, that can't last forever.
No, the real world catches up. The police find them. They apprehend him.
And now it looks really bad. For the village, for the police, the mystery seems solved in the worst way.
Right. He's not just a weirdo anymore. He's the guy who was with the missing kids, now caught hiding with the girl. He's branded a liar. And worse, the whispers turn into accusations. Predator, maybe killer. It's the easiest explanation for their fear and grief.
This must be when Soo-rin has to make her stand.
It is. She can't keep the secret anymore. She stands up in public, maybe in front of the police, the whole town, and she just tells them everything. The whole unbelievable truth.
About the egg, the frozen time, the 15 years.
All of it. A desperate, brave attempt to make them understand.
And how does that go down?
Predictably. Total disbelief. Skepticism. I mean, who would believe that? It sounds like a fairy tale. Or worse, like she's been manipulated or is delusional from grief.
So nobody believes her. She's standing there telling this impossible truth completely alone.
Pretty much. But then, there's a little crack, a turning point from somewhere unexpected. One of the cops, maybe just doing his job thoroughly, finds something small.
Evidence?
Kind of. It's a drawing. A simple kid's drawing.
Oh.
Made years ago, presumably by Sung-min when he was actually a boy.
Okay.
So the drawing has details in it. Maybe a specific way he drew something, a unique little character, something only the real Sung-min would have drawn like that.
Something that connects the boy who vanished to the man standing right there.
Exactly. It's not like DNA proof, but it's personal. It validates Soo-rin's story in a small way. It makes people pause. It plants a seed of doubt about the easy explanation. Maybe, just maybe.
Maybe the impossible story isn't impossible.
Maybe the truth starts to peek through. But even with that tiny bit of potential proof, things are still incredibly messy. He's still an adult who lost 15 years.
So what does he do? Sung-min.
He makes another incredibly hard decision. He realizes that even if people start to wonder, even if some believe, he doesn't actually fit here anymore.
He doesn't belong in this timeline.
Right. His friends are gone. His peers lived those 15 years normally. The world moved on in a way he couldn't. So he decides he has to leave, disappear again.
Not because he's guilty, but because he just doesn't belong.
Exactly. It's acceptance, in a way. But before he goes, he has this quiet moment with Soo-rin. A farewell.
The only one who truly saw him.
Yeah. And he leaves her a note.
What does it say?
Simple. Heartbreaking, really. I'll be watching the stars. Keep dreaming. Don't forget me.
Wow. That hits hard.
Doesn't it? It just sums up everything. Their connection, his strange existence now, watching from afar.
So Soo-rin is left alone again, just like she was at the start, after her mom died. But is she broken by it?
The story says no. It describes her with this soft smile. Quiet strength. She's alone, yes, but she's holding on to something incredibly valuable.
The truth.
The truth of their bond. She knows it was real. She knows what happened. And that connection, it didn't care about age or time. It just was validated by that insane shared experience.
It's such a powerful way to explore, well, so many things. Grief, obviously, for Soo-rin, but also the nature of time itself, right?
Yeah.
Is it fixed? Is it fluid? What does it mean to live through it?
And belief. The power of belief. Believing someone, seeing past the surface to who they really are.
Which loops back to that central question the story leaves you with, doesn't it? What if growing up isn't really about how many birthdays you've had?
Yeah, but about what your heart remembers, what it holds on to.
It definitely makes you think. This whole story, time-bending, impossible returns, a connection that defies logic. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? About our own ideas of what's real, what connects us.
What impossible things might you find yourself believing, if you were shown something that just didn't fit the rules?
Yeah. Something to chew on next time you find yourself looking up at the stars.